Do you ever feel like no matter how many times you talk things through, the fighting just keeps coming back? That cycle can be exhausting. In this video, we're going to talk about one pattern that can help you change that fighting for good. This simple pattern is what I used for many years as I was raising my children, as well as doing treatment foster care for troubled teens. So for many years, I took in treatment children, and they came with a myriad of issues that they were facing. There was neurodiversities and processing differences from mine, but also there was a lot of trauma and baggage that they had with them. They needed to learn boundaries. There were so many issues that happened, and they were constantly pushing back. There was a lot of impulsivity, aggression sometimes that we needed to get a handle on, and I could not engage in a power struggle. Otherwise, I would not be effective at helping them with their own treatment, conquering their own problems, and trying to help them become the best versions of themselves so that they could graduate into a lower level of care. I wanted them to ultimately be able to reunite with their families or find a productive family life so that they could end up having greater success and happiness in their future lives. That meant that I needed to be prepared. I needed to make sure that I had a plan for how I was going to handle it if the conflict just kept raging. So what I'd like to share with you is what I did in those circumstances, but how they've also helped me in other circumstances with extended family members when people have had a problem there, or as I've helped other families navigate some really difficult challenges in their relationships. Oftentimes families will perpetuate a family fight because they develop a habit for how to interact with each other. They just see each other in a certain way, and then whenever they're with the other person, they automatically don't trust or they judge in some way. And so then the relationship or that moment in the relationship starts off on a bad foot. So even though maybe one problem supposedly is under the bridge because it happened, a week ago or 6 months ago, now we're at a new moment, but really somebody hasn't forgotten that moment. They haven't been able to drop the subject about it. They haven't moved on. They haven't forgiven the other person. Maybe they haven't even really resolved what they did as part of the problem. And so because of that, they're carrying it. Even just one person in the family continuing to carry a problem from the past can actually make a difference for the family so that they can't overcome that past argument or disagreement and be able to move on so that that's not their new normal. When it comes to little children, they're incredibly forgiving, but even they can sometimes develop a habit of not trusting each other or not trusting their parents if they feel like there's a lot of manipulation happening within the family communication patterns. So it is important that the family does not adopt a system or structure of communication that's highly manipulative. So what I did when I took in these treatment children and when I was raising my own strong-willed children through all the years of their upbringing is I followed this simple pattern. The first thing that I did was analyze my own inner dialogue. Step number one, what is it that I keep saying to myself on the inside? Am I telling myself that that person is mean, that that person doesn't understand? If I'm telling myself stuff like that, then I'm actually creating a wedge in our relationship, which is going to be difficult to overcome. Or am I giving that person the benefit of the doubt, and am I focusing on maybe where I went wrong and what I could fix about me? What can I do better next time? What responsibility did I have in that argument or that disagreement that we had? How could I have handled it differently? Those are going to be important questions that I ask myself. Another part of inner dialogue is going to relate to my calmness and my state of calmness. I might ask myself a question like, well, am I even calm right now? Does it seem like I'm processing things in a healthy way? And if not, then I'm going to find myself using my tools of calmness and getting myself back to a calm place so that I can actually solve the problem at hand and unify with the people around me. If a person is not calm, they can't unify with the other people because they'll stay in a selfish state. And it's not that they're wanting to be selfish, they're just not sure how to get rid of the problem or how to resolve it and make it go away. So they hold on to it, but that keeps them very self-focused, and it ends up damaging their ability to bond and connect with other people, sometimes even their own children or spouse. The next thing that I did was I made a plan for if I wasn't calm, what was I going to do? So if I found that I didn't have the right tone, I wasn't in the right mindset, I was entertaining the wrong thoughts, my blood pressure was rising, what was I going to do? Number one, I'm going to stop myself. I'm not going to go and communicate with somebody if I'm not calm yet. There's just no point to doing that. And so I told myself I needed to have a calm plan for myself. And so my plan was that I was going to go into my room and I was going to sit in my rocking chair and I was going to rock in my rocking chair and I was going to pull out my little cue cards that I'd made for myself to tell me what words and stuff I wanted to say. And I was going to review those. I was going to evaluate, what is it about me that I'm holding on to that's not going to be healthy? How do I need to help this other person? I need to take some deep breaths. So I'm going to be giving myself instructions. I'm going to go through my little process of calming, and I'm only going to give myself 5 minutes or less to do it. So I'm going to tell my family, hey, I'm going to go get calm and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Because when a person wants to, they can get calm in 5 minutes or less. They have to want to. There has to be a desire there. And I can't keep thinking about all the wrongs that I think happened to me. I have to focus just on getting calm first. Then afterward, we can talk about whatever the situation was and hopefully come to a better place because we're now in the right parts of our brain. So when you're in an emotional state, you're in midbrain or back brain, you can't think straight. You have to be in front brain to have 100% ability to be able to solve your problem. So I would follow through my calm plan and remove myself. That's the next thing. After that, I'm going to appeal to my skills. So that's what's on those cue cards, right? As I would sit there and look at those cue cards, I would say, okay, what skill is it that they're not using? So I've taught my children all the 4 basic skills of self-government. Each one of those skills of self-government has steps, right? So maybe they're not accepting a no answer. Maybe the part of not accepting a no answer is maybe they are not looking at me. Maybe every time I'm telling them no about something, they're rolling their eyes, which is not looking at me and not keeping a calm face, voice, and body. And so maybe that's what I need to correct. So I need to focus in on that's their step that they missed. That's what we need to correct. I'm not taking it personal. I'm accepting my own no answer about that, right? They weren't perfect. That's okay. I don't expect them to be. I'm just here to teach them and to help them. So now I'm going to appeal to my skills. What skills do I need in order to teach them how to solve this problem and handle cause and effect? Now this comes back to what I said at the beginning. So at the very beginning of this video, I said, well, sometimes you talk about it, but the same fighting just keeps coming back again and again. Well, why is that? Well, because just talking about it sometimes does not set the reset like it would if a person has to accept a negative consequence for it. So I know that there's mixed views right now on negative consequences. I think that the world has pretty much proven that not having any consequences or not talking about negative consequences has actually done a disservice to a lot of our young people who are now very emotionally coddled. They don't want to take any responsibility for things. So we do need to teach them about consequences. And the actually most merciful way to do that is to use a synthetic consequence, something really quick that they can get over, like maybe an extra chore or something. So then I might tell them they get the opportunity to earn an extra chore. But now they have to use their skill of accepting consequences to actually accept that. They have to take full responsibility. That's probably one of the missing pieces. If it's all about you talking to them, just talking at them, they don't actually ever have to take responsibility. And there comes a point point where people need to take that responsibility. Now, it's a little bit easier with children than working with adults, because adults have to acknowledge their own negative consequences. They have to say, you know, my relationship with that person isn't as good now because I took offense and I did this, and every time I see him, I can't talk to him, and so that's perpetuating the problem. I guess I better change. You know, those are natural consequences that can go on for months and years, sometimes never even get resolved because people are so proud and they won't see them. This is why it's a really great service for a child to teach them about negative consequences and give them the opportunity to accept those. So basically, learning how to do a really good correction, staying calm yourself, keeping your inner dialogue going where it needs to, is going to be the biggest factor in really trying to help you be the best that you can at helping your children solve those conflicts and making sure that the arguing doesn't come back again and again. Now, these 4 basic skills that I mentioned, one of them is a skill called disagreeing appropriately. It's for sure my children's favorite skill that they ever learned. And this is because it helped them get their way, but it also was a very mature skill. It helped them sort out their problems and stuff. That's a skill you're absolutely going to want to teach them, so that they have that empowerment of being able to solve their problems and stuff. And that skill will actually make it so that people can talk out their problems, siblings can discuss their problems, instead of always going to fights every time. If the emotions are given all the attention, and that looks like how we solve our problems, it's always going to keep going there. It will be fights every time. But if we learn how to logically, calmly talk our problems out, solve them, accept our consequences when we don't do it the right way, that type of stuff, everything changes. And I know I've seen it in home after home around the world, and I've watched what's happened to my children's lives as they are very emotionally strong and confident problem solvers going forward. There is a video that I highly recommend that will go into more details about these skills that I'm talking about and how to do a correction for your family. It's a full-length class. It's here on this channel. It's called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. So I recommend clicking on that link next. I'll see you there.